Let's solve this block for practice array and string method. So here we have three variables from, quote and to. Find the index of the first is in the variable quote and store it in a variable indexOf is. To find the index, we will use indexOf string function and will pass is as parameter. Find the character at the index in quote. So character at and will pass index. Log the message. So here we'll log this. We need to replace this 7 with the value of the index. So we'll just copy paste, or we can store this in a variable and we can use it here. We'll change that to $sign. So $sign will replace that with a value. Log the message of first 6 character of quotes like this. So for logging the string, we can use for loop. And here we'll change the value of 0 to I and T to quote of I. If we refresh it, we can see index at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Using the variable from, to and quote, display this message in this way. We have to use concat method. We'll say final is equal to. So we'll start with from, quote and to. So we need to concat all these three methods, quote and to. If we want to check the value, we can say console.log final. So here we have to say serial for else said. So we'll add from, and here we will need to add said, put a space here, and in the end to area stack. So again we have to add this. Thus from, to and quote ends with rk, check all of it. So to do that, we'll just check from dot ends with and we'll check this. Similarly, we'll do it with quote and to. Thus quote includes the word only. So quote dot includes, and here we'll pass only. Similarly, we'll do it here, and here we need to check quote v. Find the index of the word v in quote. So here we'll say index of. So index of returns the index of the thing that you are checking. Otherwise, it always returns -1. Split the code into individual word and store them in a variable code splitted. So here we'll say let, and to split into words, we'll have to split it with space. Let's move on to next one. Change the word today in code splitted to tomorrow and join them all to form a sentence. So here first thing we will have to find the index of today, and to find the index in array we can say code splitted dot index of, and here we need to pass the word today and we'll store it into index variable. Now we need to change that, and to change that we'll say code splitted will access the index and we'll change it to tomorrow. Now we have to join it. So to join it, we'll say code splitted dot join, and to form a sentence we need to join it with space. Find the index of the second O in quote using index of. So we'll say quote dot index of. Important thing we need to notice is like, so here we can see this is the first O and this is the second O. So index of also takes another parameter if we want to check. So we'll go on to MDN looking for index of. Index of takes two parameters, search element and from index. So we can use from index and to find the second one. So we can see after index 7 or 8, we will find the second one. So to find the second one, we'll say I'm looking for O, but you have to find after 8. And if you want to log the value, we can say console.log. Refresh it here and we can see the index is 9. Find the last index of A. So to find that, we will use lastIndexOf property, code.lastIndexOf. We need to pass A. So there are multiple ways to think about this problem. One of the way would be lastIndexOf takes two parameters similar to indexOf. The second parameter is from index, which means like until which index you have to search it for. So what I have to do, whatever is the last index of, we have to pass that. So what I'll do is I'll just pass last index of A is equal to this. Whatever is the last index of A, I want you to search for last index of A minus 1. So if the length is the same as the last index of the previous one, in that way we will be able to find the second last index. Let's check the last index of. So here we can say last index of is 48. It means that we are talking about this A. So now I'm saying in the next one last index of, but the length should be only this much. So if that is the case, then it will look for the last index, and that is this one. So let's test it and see the output. And here you can see we are getting the output 36. Make the code 70 character long. If it has less character, add dot dot dot. Length is equal to code dot length. Now we have to write a for loop. So we will start with the length or whatever is the length, and we'll create another variable called max, and that is 70. So what we need to do is we need to start from the length of the string, and we have to check if the length is less than 70, we have to keep adding it. So here we'll say I is equal to length. I should be less than max, less than or equal to max, and I plus plus. And now every time that is happening, we have to change quote is equal to quote plus. We just need to add one dot for every time. Every time that is happening, we have to change the length. And now because we have updated the property, we have to change the length, and it will change. Let's go ahead and look at the value of quote. Here we can see it has this many number of dots here. So this is one way of solving the problem. And other way of solving would be, we can directly say let new quote is equal to, here we know the difference. So what I'm going to do, we are just going to say quote plus. So here we just need to repeat dot the number of times here. So we'll say I need to repeat dot, but how many times is decided. So we'll say repeat, and here we'll pass the number of times, and number of times will be max minus length. And if we comment out this code and refresh it here and look at the value of new quote, we'll see it has been added this many times. So this is the simplest way of solving this problem. And if we have to do the same thing, we'll be doing something like this. New start quote is equal to, we'll just move this. Let's refresh it and look at new start quote, and we can see the value has moved in the start. Log the repeat of hello world. So we'll say console.log hello world, and we'll say dot repeat, and here we'll pass 10 times. If we refresh it, we'll see hello world 10 times. Replace today to tomorrow in quote. So we'll say quote dot replace today to tomorrow. Replace Starks with Lannisters. So we'll say quote dot replace Stark with Lannister. Make the quote of length 30 and put dot dot at the end. Use slice. So we'll create a new variable and say quote dot slice from 0 to 30. And for everything else, we just need to say plus dot dot dot. Find out does quote from and quote to starts with A or not. So for that, we'll do the same thing. And all these three places will say dot starts with, and we'll pass capital A. And if we want to check the value of in console, we can just say console.log. Refresh it here. It should be from and to. Refresh it here, and we can see false, false, true.